I think we're always being discipled. Now that I'm using this word because we've been talking about it, I think there's a chance to be discipled by anyone in your life because they're pouring into you and you're listening to them and you're responding to them. And I think God has put in my mind to make sure that I'm getting discipled, I'm taking in wisdom from the right person. Somebody who has a biblical worldview, somebody who will stand up and call me out on something, somebody who cares, somebody who knows Jesus and is walking with Jesus. Because we're getting poured into. Wherever we are, whatever we're doing, we're getting poured into.
For sure.
So making sure
somebody's going to fill you up.
Yeah.
Right. And that person better know Jesus or they're going to lead you astray.
Yeah.
Right.
I love that. That's so good.
Yeah.
Important piece.
So building relationships, so key to discipleship. So just
It's
have
key
coffee.
to our walk, isn't it? It's just
absolutely.
key to our walk.
And I now knowing that the relationships that I have and the people that will speak into my life, I look back now and I wonder why I spent so much time, like I said, when I was hiding from people or living, because I knew I was wrong,
Right. Yeah.
you know? And now I'm like, man, I wish I could go back and do that over again.
Yeah.
And we don't want you to live with those, regrets and what could have beens, But I also think there's a measure of healing that comes from your journey when you're able to walk alongside somebody who's now behind you.
Yeah.
Because we're all old enough now where there are people behind us.
Yeah.
There are people who are coming alongside in our groups and in our churches that are going through similar things that we've all been through.
Yeah.
And you can scoot up beside them and put an arm around them because you know what it's like to be there. And you can also disciple. Now, I want to just say one thing quickly here. When I say the word disciple and you kind of cringe, that does not mean you have to know everything. It doesn't. It
Thank
only
you.
means you have to know one thing.
Right.
That is Jesus.
Yes.
That is always the right answer.
the right
And
answer.
sometimes there'll be situations that you're in, and I know there have been situations that I have been in very recently that I didn't know the answer. I didn't know what the answer was, and I had to parse out, these are my feelings, and this is the truth, and the answer is probably somewhere, in the intersection of those two things, but I don't know the answer flat out. And I'll tell you that one of the things that has helped me the most is knowing that I don't have to have all the answers.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it's not up to me. Like, they're not looking to me to have the answers, and my job is not to have the answers. My job is to point them to Jesus, because
have all the
does
answers.
have all that, right? But that's a hard, because people, when they say mentoring or discipleship, you automatically go into this weird kind of caste system where you have to know a certain number of Bible verses or been through know the Roman road without looking or something like that. I mean, we just automatically go there. It doesn't mean you have to have all the answers. It just means you have to know where to point people. So don't feel like you have to have a seminary degree to disciple anybody. I'm getting off that.
Right. Yeah. Well, and you need to be able to be vulnerable.
Sure.
And share your own story. So, I mean, and all of us can do that. We all have our testimonies. But if you're gonna disciple somebody, you have to, the number one thing, knowing Jesus. Number two thing, being willing to talk about your own stuff, because that's how other people grow.
Yeah. You know what I realized in that process too? This was for me, might not be for you, but when I was unwilling to tell my story, it was because I still wanted to be the hero.
Ouch.
Sorry. I said it was just for me.
Well, no.
Yeah.
Well, think about my experience when I wrapped it up with a bow every time.
Yeah.
Sometimes you want to say the right words even if you don't feel them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's not very helpful.
No. So I had to get over myself in a lot of ways, but I think it was Beth Moore that said, I've reached so many more people broken than I would have whole, and I think that's so true for all of our stories. Like, our perfect lives don't point anybody to Jesus. They point to us. And so our brokenness can reach so many more people.